Welcome back, Arbor League, and today we're going to be taking a look at Victreebel's prospects in Go Battle League, as the Bellsprout Community Day was announced along with its new legacy move, Magical Leaf. So like and subscribe and turn notifications on, and let's take a look to see if Victreebel will be any good. Hopping over the pvpoke, the first thing that we should take a look at is the move itself. So I put all of Victreebel's fast moves up. I did include Acid just for a fair comparison, but I know no one uses it. So to be fair, it does gain one more energy for the same amount of turns. Still not the greatest move though, as Razor Leaf hits much harder. But as for Magical Leaf, we see it hits just as hard as Razor Leaf, but it gains 6 more energy, taking 1 more turn however. That looks good on paper, but how does that affect us? Let's take a look at the Moveset Explorer. So we have Razor Leaf as the fast move, and we're just going with Leaf Blade as the charge move. We see down here that it takes 9 Razor Leafs to get to a Leaf Blade. So in that time you will have dealt 108 fast damage, 84 charge damage with the Leaf Blade as the total of 192, and that will take 19 turns or 9.5 seconds. Then we will come up here and change this to Magical Leaf, and we can see that it deals 48 damage, so a little bit less, still 84 with the charge damage, so a total of 132, and the fast move count is 4343, but is 13 turns or 6.5 seconds, so you do get there in a little bit less time. What does this all mean though? Well, it's too much math for this early in the morning of recording, but basically, Magical Leaf is a 3-turn move dealing 10 damage and will have dealt 20 damage on turn 6. Razor Leaf is a 2-turn move dealing 10 damage and will have dealt 30 damage on turn 6, making Razor Leaf low-key still better. Hopping back over here to the rankings, we see that the Shadow version is ranked better, sitting at number 141 with a score of 83.8. And the regular Victreebel is sitting at 272 with a ranking of 80. Now we're just going to take a look at the stats versus the entire Great League here. So we'll look at the Shadow first, go down to here and just see versus the entire Great League. Now mind you, these are in the ones, so this is just a generic overview of the matchups. Here we have the fast move of Razor Leaf. So versus the entire Great League, we have a battle rating of 519, so it looks like it's pretty spread out over the entire Great League. Scrolling down here, we just want to take a look at some of the key losses and wins. So we do lose, obviously, to a lot of the Fires, the Flyers, the Dragons, the Steels, other grass types that outclass us. We're stuck with the grass fast move, and they get to Sludge Bomb a little quicker than we do. More of the Flyers, Alolan Sandslash, even neutral matchups like Mantine and Gligar. They are part Flyers, but they take neutral due to the water and ground type from grass. So we see Cresselia against Psychic types, Alolan Ninetales are Ice types, not the greatest. Even Lickitung outbulks us. Charjabug, even despite the Volt Switches being resisted, we get outpaced with the X-Scissors. The neutral X-Scissors, just Flyers, more Steels, Medicham, and some of the Fighters. Now we are going to search the best to worst, just to make a fair comparison. So again, we beat clear as day all the Mud Boys, obviously the Lantern, Azumarill, even with Ice Beam. We've got the Razor Leaf, we can lower the defense with Acid Spray, but we beat even number 2 here in Ultra League. We beat Feraligatr, we beat Poliwrath, a lot of the waters and top meta picks. Again, we beat Annihilate, which is another recent addition that's very meta. Wigglytuff, even with Icy Wind, our attack drops, but we can still Razor Leaf down, and maybe the Alolan Ninetales Shadow. So the non-Shadow we lose to, but the Shadow we beat just because it takes 20% more damage. If it has Charm, if it has Powder Snow, it's a different story. But Sableye, Carbink, Dugong, even Registeel has a positive matchup here just because the Focus Blast and the Zap Cannon are resisted. Bastiodon, we beat Vigoroth and other Victreebel. The Shadow could go either way there, and with Annihilate. What was up here, Annihilate? Oh, with Counter, but if you have Annihilate with Night Slash Shadow Ball versus Ice Punch Shadow Ball. So it actually has a better matchup against Ice Punch for some reason, which is pretty interesting here. But then we are going to scroll back up here and fix this fast move. So you can actually add a custom fast move here. So not going to see Acid. We are going to type in Magical Leaf here just to compare the two grass moves. So you can just start typing it there. It automatically comes up. Then we have to rebattle the entire Great League with Magical Leaf. So we see here the data gets spread out a little bit more, 5-12. So it looks like we pick up a couple wins, and we do have more wins than losses here. So again, on paper, Magical Leaf is looking a bit better. We have the best to worst sorted. So we still beat all of the Mod Boys fair and square. There's no problem there. I think where it would start mattering is maybe like in the middle. So we pick up the Metachan match, as that was a little bit worse with Razor Leaf. We have Annihilate with Ice Punch, is still a good matchup. Carbink, Wigglytuff, Sableye, again that Shadow of Ninetales, that Ice type is good. Registeel, Umbreon, Bastiodon, Vigoroth, Annihilate, Victreebel. So it looks like it's pretty much the same here. I think where it might matter is if some of these losses. So we're gonna switch over this best to worst from worst to best. So it's about the same wins and losses too, right? Talonflame we still lose to, but we see that rating has dropped. It was already bad, but it dropped a little bit more. So that means the loss is a little bit harder. So we still lose to Altaria, that Alolan Sandslash, Mantine, Alolan Ninetales. Some of these have jumped up per se, I guess, or down in the rankings, depending which way you look at it. Gligar, we still lose to Skarmory, Pelipper, Mandibuzz, other grass types that outclass us, etc. And then against itself, it jumps down a little bit here. As you see, it's not a 500 anymore, so Victreebel Shadow versus itself versus Razor Leaf, actually. So we actually lose to the Razor Leaf version if we have Magical Leaf. Annihilate kind of drops out. We get that win there. We usually get the win, but that was another 500 on the dot if it was Night Slash, so we win that a little bit more. So hopping back over to the rankings, we're going to take a look at the regular Victreebel versus the entire Great League. It's probably going to be about the same. There's not going to be much difference. We see that the regular Victreebel actually 492, so even a lower rating yet again. So we had to take 14 wins and 25 losses. So that shadow damage really helps Victreebel here. So we still lose to the same things: Talonflame, Altaria, Skarmory, Mandibuzz, Sandslash, Guzzlord. Cresselia jumps up there, right? We lose a little bit harder to that. Ninetales, Mantine, Gligar, Lickitung. So basically the same Pokemon. We're going to see the best to worst now. So again, the Mud Boys, same kind of thing, same pattern. The Poliwrath, even Poliwrath having Icy Wind, and Feraligatr, brand new meta, Wigglytuff, Dugong, Carbink, Cresselia. So there might be one or two wins here and there that we pick up, but none that we really lose. Just the ones that we lose, we kind of lose a little bit more. And now we are hopping over to the Ultra League. If you guys have enough XL candies for that, we see again Shadow is ranked much better than the regular Victreebel. This one is a little bit less of a gap, as we have 76 for a score, sitting at 312, and the regular Victreebel sitting at 356 with a score of 74.8. So we're going to drop down this menu here, and we are going to take a look at Victreebel Shadow versus the Ultra League. Now I do have a hundo that goes a little bit over the CP, so you don't want an exact hundo for the Ultra League. It does go up into Master League, but it's not the greatest. It like sits at about a 2600, so we've got a 2498 here with Razor Leaf, and I would assume it's about the same. So taking a look at the battle rating here, a 453, so that's pretty low still. We only win 12 and we take 28 losses. So scrolling down here to the losses, again as expected, we've got Talonflame, Charizard, all the Fire Flyers, and Giratina, big one in Ultra League, Guzzlord, Mandibuzz, Skeledirge, another great pick for the meta. More Dragons, Pidgeot, more Ghosts, and yeah, there's more Poison Darks, Defense Deoxys, Cobalion, Venusaur. So we have similar losses in the Ultra League. So we scroll back up here, going best to worst this time. Scroll back up there. So we got the same kind of wins, right? Swampert, Greninja, Feraligatr, Tapu Fini, Poliwrath, Walrein. Despite it being an ice type, we can Razor Leaf that Walrus down. Granbull resisting the charms. And Alolan Ninetales, again, we beat that if they have Charm. Not so much if they have Powder Snow, but we're good up against the Ampharos, Cresselia, Gyarados. Not many people use in Ultra League, but yeah, doing pretty well up against most of the meta here. So now we're going to take a look at Victreebel Shadow with Magical Leaf. And we're going to compare the grass moves, and we're going to compare to Acid in a little bit just to show some stats. And we see we have 497 here, so we take a few more wins, but we still have a lot of losses to deal with. So as it was set before, we have Jellicent, Swampert, Ampharos, Tapu Fini. Again, the Annihilate, when we pick up Virizion, we actually do pretty well because we can get to that Sludge Bomb quicker now. So I know we resist the double kick, but they have the potential to have Stone Edge here. So we can pick up that Virizion match. Alolan Ninetales, we still win. Granbull, Greninja, Gyarados, Umbreon. Obstagoon we might start picking up because it does have counter, cross chop, which we resist, and it is non-stab. And even this Cresselia match flips, right? Because we can get to those charge moves a little bit quicker. We don't have to rely on fast move pressure as much. So we pick up that Cresselia win. We can do well up against Steelix here. Golisopod starts going downhill from there. But we can get some chip damage off there, maybe take it in the 2s or soft lose that. So that's where I consider around between 600 and 400 is maybe like a soft loss, or you can win in the 2s, depending on energy management and lag and all those other factors. So then we hop back over here. Sorry if there's a lot of noise going on in the background. It's been raining non-stop for about 3 or 4 days here, so our water pumps are just running like mad. We're going to go see how the regular Victreebel does in the Ultra League level 50. So we drop here to 436. So yeah, what I'm learning here and what you should learn here is that the regular Victreebel does a little bit less, does a little bit poorer than the Shadow version. So you kind of want the Shadow version if you're serious about building one of these. Again, we lose to all the Fire Flyers, same kind of pattern, right? The Alolan Mux, the Giratina, Skeledirge, Venusaur. That's worst to best, best to worst. Same idea, we beat all the waters, all the Charmers, the electric types, right? Greedent, we actually win. Obstagoon, Defense Deoxys, Steelix, and Umbreon. So we're gonna see how regular Victreebel does by adding Magical Leaf. I think that did it. Okay, so scrolling down here, again, we drop again 436, so we're just losing more. So I guess this is the worst of Victreebel to build, right? The regular one with Magical Leaf. So actually for best to worst, we actually still take that Charmalolan Ninetales, and that's one of our, oh sorry, so scrolling down here to the best to worst, so we win against the same kind of things again, as we can see. So it's just the same kind of style play, right? We just winning and losing to the same kind of things. So let's just do a battle here just for all tents that are purple. I want to see how the actual battle works, jumping from Razor Leaf to Magical Leaf. So here's a match that we obviously win, right? The Swampert, the Mud Boy. So we can Razor Leaf down, we don't have to shield anything. So as we can see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Swampert gets to a Hydro Cannon, we shield 6 Razor Leafs, and Swampert's done, right? So we win that fair and square in most, I think in all shield scenarios. Yeah, all shield scenarios, because Swampert doesn't even get to a charge move, right? It just gets Razor Leaf down before it can get to another. So Victreebel wins that one fair and square. I think this is in the Great League. Oh no, it's still in the Ultra League, just for all tents that are purple. So we're going to change this one again back to Magical Leaf, right? So we still win. It still does 10 damage. It just takes 3 turns instead of 2 turns. So it's more of an energy management kind of style of play. So as we can see here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Swampert actually gets to the Earthquake this time. We shield and it's 6. So it's still 6 fast moves, but it takes longer, right? Last time with Razor Leaf, Swampert might reach a Hydro Cannon. With Magical Leaf, Swampert will reach the Earthquake. We still shield and win, but it just makes it a little bit more tough of a loss, right? So we scroll down here to the shield scenarios, we still win in all shield scenarios because all we have to do is just shield a move. Now we're going to take a look at Victreebel in the Master League. So it drops way down, right? We have number 445 with a score of 49.6 as the Shadow. The Shadow's still better. So if you take anything home from this today, the Shadow version of Victreebel will always be better. And we've got number 470, again, the regular one being worse than the Shadow at 47.8. So we're just going to straight go for the Shadow here. We're not going to mess around and worry about what the regular one looks like for Master League. So we have Razor Leaf on this one, and we have 30 losses to 8 wins. So not doing too well with Razor Leaf here. Sort of worst to best, obviously losing against all these Steels and Dragons, having, Reshiram, Rayquaza, Dialga, Dragonite. All those are the worst case Ontarios, Lugia, Zekrom, Giratina, Zarude, other grass types, right? So we're taking a lot of losses from a lot of really popular meta picks. Even Landorus, right? Here with Sansear Storm lowering our attack, Mewtwo, Togekiss, Palkia, so absolutely not the greatest. So I do not suggest building a Victreebel for Master League just yet. Let's take a look and see if Victreebel in the Master League with Magical Leaf makes a difference. As Acid is not going to definitely not make a difference in the Master League with the Poison type resisting a lot of Steel types as well. And we dropped to 312, so even worse. 9 wins, 29 losses. So let's see here what our wins actually are. Probably just going to be, yes, Kyogre, Sylveon again, Charmers, Swampert, Ursaluna, Rhyperior. So again, stuff that's kind of uncommon, but the Zacian people don't use as much anymore, or at least around in the ace ranks. You still see that a lot in more like veteran, expert, legend range. Zacian Mamoswine, because of the part ground type, again, Powder, Snow, Rexus, Xerneas, Togekiss, all the fairy types that we resist the typical movesets of Gyarados. But that is sort of where it starts going downhill, right? All the waters becoming the dragons. So yeah, Garchomp, Snorlax, those aren't looking too promising. So again, if you take something else home today, take this, that do not build a Victreebel for Master League. So, will Victreebel be good for Go Battle League? Not necessarily. It is still viable in Great League and possibly Ultra League, but I do not recommend one for Master League, especially if you're trying to climb. If you do want to build one for any league, then I recommend the Shadow, as the bonus damage really carries it, as it still does with the fast move pressure of Razor Leaf. Definitely a meme, being Pokedex number 69 and Community Day happening on April 20th. I mean, Niantic had to know what they were doing with Magical Leaf, right? If you're enjoying the content, leave a comment and tell me what you think. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn notifications on. It really helps me out, keeps me in the algorithm, and lets you know when I post, because there will be much more Pokemon Go content to come. But that's all I've got for today, guys. Thank you again, everyone, so much for watching. I've been ArborAndy. Keep your sticks on the ice, and I'll see you buds in the next one.